Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
All right. Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. With me, as always, Damian the Wolverine Hill. Trash Talk is brought to you by our sponsors Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Shrinks Tattoo, Origin Wellness CBD, Spartan Martial Arts, The Striking Institute, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, and my mom. Damian, how you doing today, man?
A whole lot better than you, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, but I feel like your answer, I'm not even going to take the time to respond because your answer was the perfect segue. Because the fans of the show and the fans of the Wolverine would know that one of the things you never lacked in your career, whether it was fighting or now on the media side of it, is confidence. So I was just thinking, just to get into it for the fans to know, when you first started Trash Talk, long before I was even on board, when you first busted out your phone and recorded that video, what made you think people were even going to watch this?
Man, honestly, it was just the fact, like the question that I had asked myself before I started was, why wouldn't they watch it? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I know it's the old saying, if you build it, they will come. Like there was always an audience for it. The audience just didn't know that they were there, or the people that were trying to do it beforehand weren't. I mean, after a certain amount of time, commitment gets drawn in other directions, and they weren't committed to putting it out there as much and feeding the audience. And as arrogant as I am, because I am an arrogant motherfucker, don't get me wrong. Like, do not put that past me. I'm an arrogant motherfucker. But honestly, all it took was just somebody who's willing to do it. Anybody could do it, dude. Like it. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be Trash Talk with Damian and TJ because we wouldn't be part of it, and they probably would have called it Respectful Talk with MMA fighters or something like that,
Nerds.
But yeah. So if somebody who's not us would have decided to do it, it would have worked, just because there was nobody else doing it and there was an audience for it. It is an audience for it. You just got to be willing to deliver it to them. Dude, okay, so I told you the story a million times, but to the people that don't know, I started this like by myself with a cell phone.
Yeah.
I went up to Alfonso Bell and I said, "Hey, would you be down to do an interview with a show that doesn't exist yet?" But I'm playing it off as if it exists. It's like Trash Talk with Damian Hill. I'm Damian Hill. Nice to meet you, bro. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do the interview. He agreed to it. We did the interview. He killed it. I thought it was really good. But as soon as I asked him for the interview for the show that didn't necessarily exist, I had to ask his buddy, who was warming up and fighting the same night, to record the interview for me because I had nobody else there to do it, which was just, and it worked, and it was a good interview, and people were liking it as soon as I posted it, and it was just like a little bit of validation, I guess, because one, I mean, I didn't need any anyway. Like, there's some videos that we post that get like 20 views, and then there's others that get like, well, I guess the most that we've gotten was like a little over 1,000, and we average somewhere like in the hundreds realm, But like, I don't give a shit. Like, dude, probably no one's gonna hear what I have to say right now, but I know it's worth saying. And then the people who aren't listening, you're just missing out. Like that, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not even trying to say that to be arrogant. I'm just saying that is like that's the feeling that I have talking about the fights, giving our breakdowns, giving our opinions and things like that. And yeah, dude, it was just one of those things. And then also, it's just so much fun, you know. I don't know. It was like I I'm gonna do this shit anyway. Might as well record myself, put it out there, see if people like it. Because if they do, I could possibly make some money off of it. And why not make money off of shit you gonna do for free? What the fuck? Niggas ain't
Yeah.
stupid.
Oh, 100%. And no, 100%. You're talking about, being a little bit arrogant. I think you have to be. And I mean, I think like when you first brought the idea up to me, I was like, oh man, I'm not sure. I don't know. Why would anybody?
I'm sorry, dude. I don't mean to interrupt you, even
Yeah,
though I
yeah.
do, because I always do. But anybody who goes out for acting, goes out for, I don't know, the limelight, I guess, the attention getters, or anybody who starts a show or starts putting their opinions out, has a little bit of arrogance to them, whether they want to fucking admit it or not. Why the fuck does your opinion matter? Why does what you have to say matter? Why do people need to see you doing it? Why can't it be somebody else? You know, because nobody does it the fucking way I do it, and nobody brings it the way I fucking bring it. And I need to be the one saying it. That's why. And that's always the answer for anybody who's willing to do it, whether they want to put it that blatantly or not. That is the answer for anyone who's doing it. And we're all arrogant pieces of shit because, yeah, why does my opinion matter? Because I fucking said it does, god damn it, and I'm willing to share it. Okay, now you can continue. Sorry, TJ.
No, you made me change my whole train of thought there. And for some reason, this is never a question I don't think we've ever talked about on or off camera. But the way you just phrased your last rant there, I wanted to kind of bring this up. But how would you say being a professional martial artist, professional pugilist is the term that you like to use because you fought them all in every rule set. How did that translate into the energy you brought to Trash Talk?
Hold on. I started laughing. How did you wrap up the question? How did the question end? I'm sorry.
The energy that you put into fighting and the way, how serious you took that, because obviously the confidence, the arrogance transferred over pretty easily. How else did that translate going from being a fighter into doing Trash Talk?
I don't know, man. I guess like I kind of had a lot of the fighters, or at least most of the MMA community anyway. You know, so it was a pretty easy transition with that aspect. Like already like have been in the MMA community and then trying to stay in the MMA community, but then also having the fucking confidence to know that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know, because I done it. And the thing is too is I guess, and this is going to sound arrogant. I don't mean it to be arrogant, even though I am an arrogant motherfucker. This is not on purpose, this arrogance, but I have I have a lot of fights and I have a lot of good performances out there that a lot of these fighters that we talk to have yet to have or aspire to have, you know, and that's one of the things. Like, let's say if I brought my career and I'm interviewing the UFC fighters, no one's gonna look at my shit and be like, "Oh, it's so impressive." They might look at it and be like, "Oh, at least he's done it," and he's not a dick about like asking me like a fighter, "Hey, how's it feel to get knocked out your last fight?" Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, who? Only somebody who has no experience with that would ask it like that. And then if somebody did ask it like that, who's been a fighter, you at least know that they were willing to risk it themselves, and possibly have had it done to themselves.
Yeah.
So it gives. I feel like just the energy and the fighting experience brings like another understanding or another type of respect from my end and from the fighters that we interview and talk to's end that, hey, I've been there and done that too. At, I don't know, the same level and more, possibly, like possibly, because we've interviewed Kaylin Young and Pam Swertenson and Troy Jones and Thomas Jenkins and Brandon Jenkins and fucking JP St. Louis and countless others worth like fucking Felizi. I'm like, dude, I haven't accomplished anything of what they've done. But at least the relatability, and that's one of the things that I feel like you bring too. That's one of the reasons why I even asked you to be a part of it.
Yeah, I feel like that does help, and I feel like we get that with the fighters. I've talked about it before. I mean, the fans are lucky to see what we're able to record, but some of my favorite moments with Trash Talk have been the moments where they're not recorded, where we're able to share those stories or just, share perspective or things like that. And then that's when you're able to truly get to know these guys as people and as fighters. But I feel like you get to know them a little bit more as a person when you get to talk about those things and, how they handle it. Because, there's always there's the tough guy bravado. But one of my favorite things, and I don't even know why it's popping into my head, but just a quick shout out is to Noah from Valhalla. And one of my favorite interviews with him is when he was saying, nah, man, I love to fight, but I'm scared as shit. I'm scared as shit until the bell rings. And then from there, I go into autopilot and I'm good to go. I love when a fighter is able to open up and explain honesty. Obviously there's guys who generally don't have nerves. So when they say, oh, I don't get nervous before a fight, you got to believe them. But when 9 guys are saying that in a 10-person room, you're like, I'm calling bullshit on at least half of you.
Man. Okay. So I guess that's one of the things. Okay. How do you feel about that quote where people say, if you're not scared or nervous, you're lying? Because you know how many people that have never actually fought ever, tried to tell me that the times where I told them that, yeah, dude, I wasn't nervous before that fight. And it was like, oh, no, I know you were. You're lying. Like, how the fuck would you know?
Yeah.
You pussy. You coward. You get nervous when you think about wanting to fight.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to tell me what's in my head, motherfucker? Like I have, like, dude, I've fought like multiple people at one time in street fights where there's no rules and shit like that, and came out on top, or at least been in a way worse situation than being a trained professional who had a camp, who knows who they're fighting and is standing across the cage from them, knowing that there's rules.
Yeah.
You take all 4 of those things away or whatever, and yeah, maybe I get a little bit nervous. Maybe I don't know if this dude has a gun or a knife on him and shit, and I get a little bit scared. But he does. I know for a fact he doesn't have that, and the referee just checked his fucking gloves. What's there to be afraid of? If you accept everything else, like the thing, like what people say, like, aren't you afraid? Or it's like, no, and it's like, so what? You're just like supremely confident. It's like, no, it's not either one of like, I'm afraid or I'm just like, I just know I'm gonna go dominate. No, it's the fact of acceptance. Acceptance is that I've always felt inside the cage, the ring, the circle, every fucking object I've fought inside of, everything, like I've always just felt acceptance. I accept the fact that this dude is going to come and try to kill me, right? So I take in the fact that I'm already dead, but I'm a trained motherfucking athlete. I'm a badass. I have the ability to resist him murdering me right now with my own weapons, with my own tools that I know that I harnessed and I trained. And as long as I know that, like, I have the ability to, I'm already going to die, but I have the ability to resist death. I have the training to resist death. What's there to fear? You accept it. And I don't know what that is. Like, I guess like hanging around James Clark, we always talked so much about like the Warriors mentality and the Vikings and shit like that. And it's just like in Gladiators, and it's just like I feel that. And that's how I've always approached it. So like I was never nervous for any fight. Like I just it's, if you don't understand that expression, it's a fight. Like I mean, it's probably because you don't do it.
Yeah, and just to go off what you asked me initially there, and I feel like you did touch on a lot of my answer just with what you said there. And I mean, I think it's the easy. I think it's the easy. I think it's the easy thing to say, and that's the reason why a lot of people tend to sleaze or that. Oh, you have to be nervous because, like you said, the person thinking that puts himself in that shoes. But I mean, to the average person, you have to understand these guys that are cage fighting. I mean, 99% of them, they're not scared. No one's scared. I mean, maybe if it's a guy's first fight, second fight, something like that, there might be a little something there, but they know what they're signing up for. Like you said, acceptance. I feel like nerves come from different aspects of a fight. Like I've felt nervous before a fight, obviously. I've never been nervous to get beat up. I've been beat up before. That's the least of my worries. I'm so competitive. I get nervous because I don't want to lose because this is for real. Stuff like that. And I feel like you have to accept what it is. And there's some times where you don't know what the fuck you're feeling. And you're like, God damn it, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. And there's no word for it. So I mean, to say that everybody feels nerves would be an understatement, but to say that nobody does, that's obviously an overstatement as well. But I feel like what you said was perfect from that aspect because for a fighter that truly does feel no nerves, they're at that point where they're prepared. When you're prepared for battle, that's where the confidence comes from. Nerves come from knowing you didn't do enough. Nerves come from thinking, oh, maybe I could have did this or maybe this guy's doing that. But when you're supremely confident in your ability, you know the work's been put in. Truly, what's there to be nervous about? The expression I always use, and I've probably played it out a million times, but training every day, that's school. That's the classwork. That's the boring stuff. This is the field trip. Like this is when shit gets fun. We got to make memories. We got to go out there and have fun. So when you come from it from that aspect, I feel like that's where the nerves do get eased. But I mean. It's such a broad statement, and like I said, I feel like it's the easy thing to say, so that's why people believe that, especially to cap off what you said when they haven't fought before.
All right. This isn't a response to what you just said. This is a new question to get back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, I did listen to what you just said. Don't get me wrong. What did you say again?
I said something about the color blue.
I'm fucking with you. But anyway, why did you say yes to doing trash talk with me? You arrogant piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, at first it was like, why not? We've had so many of these conversations off camera, and it's like, oh, it's the same thing, and like I guess I thought I could do it. And when I look back on that first video that we joke about all the time, I found out I could not do it. I had no idea how to control a camera, how to control a conversation. And looking back on it over a year later, it's really funny to laugh at, especially. But I mean, at first, I really wasn't sure. I was just shooting the shit with Damien, and people started watching it. And it wasn't until people started, reaching out, like, hey, that was, reassuring. And it's just like, I guess they kind of do. I guess what I'm saying does make sense. So, I mean, I still say shit, and I go, I wonder how that's going to be taken. But 9 times out of 10, it gets taken well. So, I mean, I'm going to keep talking that shit. I'm going to keep pouring a drink during this quarantine, and then I'm going to roll one because I'm stuck in the house. So, might as well talk shit.
Dude, I posted. Okay, it's story time. I posted so much shit, talking so much shit about so many shitty ass fuckers. So I mean, and this is like on trash talk, for trash talk, and shit like that. Every day I was doing interviews with fighters, still doing breakdowns of fights, doing all my shit, and everything was still getting it was picking up more and more, and like just posting ridiculous shit, making memes of niggas and shit. So anyhow, I'm in the process of doing that shit, acting like a clown and everything, which I still reserve the right to do. Which I mean, y'all will probably see some shit pretty soon anyway. Anyhow, people were messaging me telling me how my show's gonna get shut down, that I should be fired, that no one's gonna want to do it, all this shit. And just like I just kept saying, but I'm like, it's in the process of growing. I'm like, I just wanted attention for the show anyway, you know. But everybody's telling me how they didn't like what I said. I mean, I'm getting likes on videos, you know, and comments, like people are laughing at certain things that I said or thanking me for certain shout outs or whatever, right? But that's about it, you know, like, but the people who would message me or at least comment like a paragraph were the people who didn't like what I was saying. And it just made me want to say it even more. And that translated into people because I knew, dude, I know I'm the shit. I know what I say makes sense most of the time.
Yeah.
And and I know if it doesn't make sense, it's probably fucking funny, or it makes sense and it's fucking funny. So they people started messaging me saying, "Oh, I love your response to such and such," or whatever, and it just became more and more, started to grow. More fighters, like, because I was reaching out to fighters every single day, and multiple fighters every single day, and not recording every single night at the beginning. Now we're recording every single night, and we have interviews. I guess there's like 4 that we haven't posted because the fight got canceled like 2 or 3 days after we did the interview, you know, and it just wasn't worth posting at that time. But like, we have fighters like reaching out to us now, and it just like it all started from me not giving a fuck about the negative criticism. Like, I guess, like, and then once people started to like say things like positively to me or whatever, right, it reinforced it. Like, it made me feel a little bit better, you know, like what you were saying, you know. But at the same time, I don't know if it's like the difference in personalities where like I just like pissing people off, so like that'll keep me motivated to keep going. Or if it's like, but everybody loves like recognition, you know, and I feel like that's what I've always wanted to provide for the fighters. It's just recognition, you know. I don't know where I was going.
No, I feel like that is exactly that's the point there. That's truly why this all started, and that's why I feel like you can come from a point of arrogance, because it's never been about exposing yourself. It's never been about exposing me. It's always been about the fighters. And sure, we're the ones that people see every day. We're the ones that are talking to the fighters. But the point of the show is to talk to the fighters. I mean, so when we get a focus on that, that's where the confidence comes. It's like, well, maybe their people will watch it, and their people will like it.
I felt like I just cut out for a second. My bad. I heard what you said though, but yeah, because like why their people will like it, and then it's never been about us, because like we literally, I mean, it could have been so easy to make a picture of myself or a picture of us drawn as cartoons or whatever as the fucking logo. Like, we didn't, like, dude, like, it was never about me. It was always about the fighters. I like just giving them a place to display themselves, not necessarily like me and you talking about them all the time behind their back and just like, oh, hopefully we can set a good impression on for the trash talk guys, blah blah blah. Like, nah, dude. Like, how about you come on trash talk and you set a good impression for your potential fans, because hopefully we're driving, like, the two of us can gain fans of the show, and the fans of the show will be displayed to fighters daily, and they become fans of the fighters. That's the point. Like, I don't, dude, still haven't made any money. Like, if we tallied everything up, it's still a loss. And even the shirts that we're selling right now, it's just like, I mean, fuck, I ended up giving some away, sold some. I haven't broke even yet, especially because like the coronavirus broke out and shit and everything, and like so now I'm probably gonna end up like donating them anyway. You know, like I don't wear a lot of the sizes. Um, but yeah, dude, like it just this is not okay. Like I'm not trying to make it to Sports Center or anything like that. I'm trying to be the motherfucker that displays all these other motherfuckers to the rest of the motherfuckers in the world.
Man, no, that sums it up. And I mean, I feel like that's all we can do is give these guys recognition and a platform for them to show their personality. And in no way, shape, or form are we take trash talk take any credit for help for anything, but give you guys the platform. If you look at some of the guys that are favorites of the show, the guys that we get requested for, there's a reason why they sell a lot of tickets. There's a reason why they have a big following behind them. It's because when they get this platform, they're able to express their personality and put it through. And when we get these guys, I mean, no, and this isn't, oh, you have to come on the show and be not yourself. But when you be yourself, I feel like that's when it truly shows. I mean, these guys that we're talking about, I mean,
As
they're different people. I mean, they're not
they
coming
don't
on and saying A, B, C, D. They're coming on being themselves, showing their personality, and people fucking love it.
dude, they don't even know that like how much like because I guess I should actually fucking start sharing the messages that we get to the trash talk page
Man.
for certain requests for certain fighters where I'm like, hey, people actually want to see you, man. And it's like when we reach out to them and we get conversations, we get talks and everything, and then obviously we have our own like fun conversation on camera. It's like, dude, we need to do this on camera, and
Yeah.
but we have those guys in our mind too. But it's one of those things. Like none of those guys are trying when it happens, and that's when it's. I feel like obviously it's the most authentic, but it's what's always best because people are either going to like you or they're going to hate you.
Yeah.
If they hate you because you're pretending to be somebody you're not, that's going to eat at you forever. Like you might, it sucks. You know, they're going to hate you for something that a part of you that doesn't exist, you were just pretending to be,
Yeah.
or they're going to fall in love with you for a part that doesn't exist and you were pretending to be, and now you have to keep that up forever and ever.
Yeah.
And now Thomas O'Connor is no longer Thomas O'Connor. He's somebody else.
Yeah, my name's Brad Johansson, and that guy's a piece of shit, by the way. And if there really is a guy called Brad Johansson, I mean nothing personally by that, but fuck you anyways. And like that's
True,
exactly
Brad.
what it is though, is because that's why people ultimately enjoy watching this is because we are ourselves. We do what we do, and believe it or not, some people don't like it. There's some people we just call them the haters. They don't watch the show, and that it's not for everybody. But we got to focus on the people that do love it, and all we can do is keep doing what we do. And when we do it, it gets done.
Dude, you know what's really funny is that like I've gotten like suggestions from people like what I should do with the show and stuff, and I'm like I usually complain about it on Facebook anyway, and it's usually just it, it's to discourage anybody else from doing it because I just want people to know like how stupid it sounds to me when somebody tells me like, hey, I was just thinking like maybe you should get a banner. Maybe you should get like shirts made. You should get a song. You should upload your videos to YouTube. Like all of this shit is basic ass shit that's already been done. Like I have somebody who doesn't do this shit at all, telling me what I should do, and most of it's already fucking done. already done. They just haven't seen it yet, or they haven't seen that one, or whatever, or they've only seen one episode. And then they want to offer suggestions in the what I should and shouldn't do. And it's like, I made a video about this like few months after I started the shit. Okay. I was telling people to write it down, roll it up in a piece of paper, and then shove it someplace that's inside your body, all the way up there. And then once you tell me that you have an idea, I'm going to tell you, oh yeah, it's probably shitty. Boom. That was the punchline. And and it, like I love constructive criticism, but if I'm gonna get something from somebody who's never watched the show, it's like I want to pay somebody to slap you, because I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna slap you, but I want to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that touches on what you were saying earlier, that the feel you got early in the trash talk run when people would reach out, and they might not necessarily be saying positive things, but they're saying things specifically to where they at least watched the content and had an opinion to say. When you get a shit ass suggestion that they didn't even put 2 cents and didn't even spend the 10-15 minutes to watch the video before offering that, that's what false criticism, and those are the ass shits who deserve to get dick smashed, as Damien would say.
Get their dick holes smashed.
Oh, psh.
Don't ever misquote me again, dude.
Yeah, I like men, Damien Hill. Sorry.
Fuck you. See, you're going around misquoting me, because I'm pretty sure you said that in your sleep. That one time when you were cornering me and you had to sleep in my hotel room and you were all like just screaming. You actually started singing "It's Raining Men" in your sleep. Oh. This has been Trash Talk with Damien and TJ. Like this video, subscribe to Trash Talk with Damien and TJ. Don't be a hoe. Like TJ.